Hi, everybody. So, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking to one of my students who had success during the sprint. She was one of my first participants in the sprint program. So, Ronetta, welcome. Tell
Thank
everybody your
you.
name.
Sorry. My
No,
name is Ronetta Jones. I have a background in operations management and events. Um, I have now, I think we did the sprint in February, right? And since then, I have had success by selling two packages and gaining $2,000 from those packages.
nice. So, what was your life like before the sprint? Like, were you new to AI? How long have you been doing it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've only been dabbling with AI since December of this year. I knew about it and, I used ChatGPT just, the basic way, ask it questions, give you answers, simple things. But in December, I started to really find out about proper prompt engineering and different and custom GPTs, and I was overloaded with information. And I just so happened to find and Kel'sea's event come up in the experts club, and I was able to finally meet somebody that told me I needed to focus on one thing and do it for 30 days and commit to it. And even just 2 days after, I was able to be successful. And it wasn't the fact that I posted on my Facebook page, because nobody responded to those posts. It was just me reaching out to people in my network that I knew and I wanted to help them advance. For instance, today I just spoke with our cousin who does medical coding and billing, and I realized I have a prompt that can actually help her with her job. And so, I told her how I can integrate that into her system and also help her create an agent that works for her that would be maintenance monthly. So it's just a matter of being focused, taking the time to execute, and being assured of yourself. Make sure you present confidence. Make sure you're drawing people in when you speak. Relate to the people, know your audience.
You said a couple of words there. So, during the sprint, as you mentioned, I had you guys post. And, sometimes that works for people and sometimes that don't. But I also gave you guys the directive to reach out to people in your phone. So for the people who are like shy or like they think that nobody is going to buy, what would you say to those people to kind of get them out of their own way?
So first, you have to realize that if you're a bottleneck in your own business, or you're the bottleneck period in whatever you're doing, whether it's a project concept or anything, you have to first be willing to use yourself as a client, and then you can feel confident going forward or in speaking to other people. I think that's something that people really forget to do. They forget to take the time to really focus on them and make sure that they are not the problem. But they also don't realize that you don't have to be 4 steps ahead of somebody to train somebody. You can just be one or 2 steps ahead and train someone. It's just like when we were younger and you had trouble with math and you had to get a tutor. That math tutor was barely older than you. It's just simple things like that that I think people don't realize. And then also, one key thing I meant to say before, not only do you know your audience, you need to know your numbers. And that's something that I talk to people about from the very beginning. We talk about their numbers. There's what is your goal, or what are you actually producing? Because numbers speak volumes, and people don't really understand that.
Yeah. So you said you be saying a couple of things. I'm like, okay, which way can I go with this? So let's speak about that confidence thing. Do you feel like you would have been able to do this outside of like by yourself, or did you get some confidence within the program? Like, talk more about that.
Well, I am one of those people that have to do something till I feel like I've perfected it. So, with that being said, sometimes I deal with imposter syndrome, no matter how confident I am. I mean, I've done live events across this world, for 350 people and more. And I have had to be MC, host, and everything else. So, you would think that I'm okay. And I'm a pageant queen. So, have walked the stage, everything. But I have an anxiety issue that most people don't know about that causes stress seizures. So I have to be very careful at what I take on or what I'm involved in. So coming to you, because of my situation, you actually helped me be able to center myself, because sometimes I feel like I have so much floating around in my head and so many different directions that I'm being pulled, that I forget, to slow down and enjoy the moment. And with you, you gave me the confidence to do that. You assured me that I was in a safe enough environment to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Do you feel, man, you had said something in the lines before that I'm trying to remember you were talking about. Oh, I should have wrote these questions down. Um, the confidence, what was it? You said so much. I'm trying to remember what it was said. Um, Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely good to hear because a lot of people get in their own way, they overthink things. Did you have a business before you started this? Like, or was it like what did you already have everything figured out? Like, what was that process like?
So I already had a business, consulting and event management business, but and let me say that they focused on, in my business, the focus was on social impact and elevating your brand positioning, whatever. We did it all. Because I ran dental practices and medical practices. So, with that being said, I was able to help create education and training programs. So, I have that background. However, um, AI is new. And I was a little leery of how to integrate what I know, my experience, into something new. And so I had built out several business plans. I just didn't know which direction I wanted to go into. But one of the things that I fell in love with was custom GPTs. And when I came to you, the first thing we talked about was that I was interested in doing custom GPTs. I had actually created four the night before we started the sprint, and that just made me want to go on a momentum with them.
Awesome. So I remember what I was going to ask you too. And I'm glad that you were able to recognize your passion. Let me stick on the same train of thought actually. So you had a passion, you had a knowledge, and you did have a previous business. Do you think people are going to be able to be successful for those who never had a business before? What would you say to the people who just have an idea and have a thought, but maybe have never had a business before?
I would tell them to go ahead and do the sprint. And the reason why I say that is, just to give an example, during COVID, I lost 50K because I had put down deposits on venues. I had clients that gave me a deposit, but I still didn't get the full amount because of having to cancel or pause or reschedule. And a lot of these venues did not want to reimburse. So that's how I essentially lost 50K. And then I refunded my clients in advance, thinking I'd be okay because the venue's going to reimburse. But it was okay. It was a lesson learned. And the reason I say that is because it gave me the opportunity to sit with myself and come up with a business plan idea. And I did this thing called idea to launch, and it was in 30 days. And this is the same concept. I mean, everybody has a concept, but uh, your program, though, not only does it give you the confidence, but it also takes you step by step. You're building on your idea, whether it's I have just a simple idea. I don't know if it's, clear or not. No, your each step in that workbook helps you build that idea. And the GPTs. I mean, they are great. I'm so glad I have access to them still because as they are awesome. And I use them, giving credit to you as well. I still use them. So,
Good. I'm happy to hear that too. So you previously talked about pricing and numbers, and that's something that we go over inside of the program, knowing your numbers. Um, a lot of people try to execute and say, well, I hope I make this, or I hope I make money. Why do you think it's important to know your numbers, to really break it down, to know, to say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna accomplish it?
okay. So when I say know your numbers, I mean know your numbers from back to front. And the reason I say that is if you work from the end game, which is, let's say mine was 15K, right? Then I have to be realistic. How many clients do I want per week? Or how many clients do I want per month? um, that is so important. If you don't take the time to look at those things, you will never execute on your business. Or if you do, your business will fail. And it's not because of the offer or the wording or anything like that. Or you could be a great presenter, but if you don't understand your numbers, where and how much you can pour into someone else, you will never understand and how to succeed properly.
Yeah. Yeah. Two more questions. So you also talked about knowing your audience. And I also talk about focusing on one thing.
Mhm.
Um, Speak a little bit more about that and with your experience and how you were able to get clarity with that. And why do you think it's important for people to get help with knowing your audience and focusing on one thing instead of trying to do all the things and talk to all the people?
Because you can, for instance, like mine is women founders, right? But one of the things that a lot of people think about, they're like, oh, but I can service men and I can service it's people with dogs and I can service people with this and that. It starts to get you in a squirrel pattern. And I call people squirrels, those that have 100,000 things going on in their mind. I'm like a squirrel running for a nut, chasing it around and things like that. And so what you have to do is stop, breathe in and out, take in the moment, and realize as an owner, you are in a special class of people because you have the opportunity to decide and realize that you make your money and you have to attract people that are you have to give to attract people. And so, with that being said, that if you're not giving enough, then you won't be able to understand or have a grasp on who your ideal client is. So, you were like, women founders is too broad. Please break that down. And so then I had to break it down to women in service based business founders, and that's one thing that when you're in big groups, they don't have the time to say, hey, I can review you, put you in the hot seat right now, and we can go through this. So that's another point. And then the other you asked about the audience and
Focusing on
um,
one thing.
focusing on one thing. Well, I think I talked about both, but yeah, it's really about narrowing and really narrow down because even though I picked women in service based founders, I realized that I should have still narrowed that down some. Um, um, and the odd thing is, it's so funny. My two clients, one was a man that I ended up attracting only because I knew what he did. He was a realtor, and I knew that he didn't have someone answering his phones or someone privately answering his phones. The agency was answering. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good, good, good. So one last thing, for somebody who feels like, oh man, the investment for this program, which continues to go up, currently it's at 997. what would you say to that person that is thinking about doing it, but they feel like, oh, I can't afford that right now? Because a lot of people have this mindset, well, I can't afford it, but they have these skills to be able to afford it. So what would you say to those people who think, well, I'm gonna just wait till later. I can't do this right now.
I would tell them to challenge themselves. Okay, you have 2 weeks before this is sprint happens. So what you need to do is think about how you can afford this. You may not be able to afford it tonight on the call, but let's see. Let's have a quick one-on-one and talk about a strategy that you can do to I think it was today in the group, your freebie Friday a prompt. That would be awesome for someone who says that, because it allows them to get confidence, not only confidence in themselves, but confidence in you, that you're going to be there to coach them. One of the things I love about the show The Voice, if there's a young singer, they actually right there take the opportunity to coach them, you know? And I think that that's something that you do, and that a one-on-one would actually make that work better. And then also, yes, you offer payment options and things like that, but a lot of times people don't want to speak up and say, hey, I only have $97 in my account. I can't pay that, and I'm worried that I don't. But I think that you make people comfortable enough that they could come to you and talk to you.
I appreciate that because I know a lot of people, and money mindset is a thing. And I definitely get that. I know for me personally, credit has changed my life. So I definitely want to have people, I'm going to have a person come in and teach about credit to help them increase their credit score, to help them get access to funding. But I think a lot of people have to look within themselves and see, okay, like my coach, he was like, people tell you, oh, I can't afford it. Meanwhile, they're looking at your webinar on an iPhone, on a MacBook, and these things on a Samsung, and these things cost thousands of dollars. So we have to be realistic about, okay, where am I putting my value? What do I value? What am I like? Where do I see myself? But we have to take a chance sometimes, and definitely do your research for sure. Um, but it just takes a lot of people just have to think within themselves instead of saying, oh, I can't afford this. What can I do? What service can I provide right now that I know to be able to provide, to be able to afford
Mm-hmm.
like this, to get me further than where I am right now? Because a lot of people think, well, I can do this by myself, but if you could, you wouldn't be in a situation that you are in now. So,
So I think of it this way, Kel'sea. I tell people, okay, let's look at it this way. Um, when you go to make a pot of tea, what all do you need for that tea? You need the tea kettle, you need the cup you're going to drink out of, you need the tea, the bag or leaves that you're going to use. And then as you sit and you're making that cup of tea, you know that you need water as the source, right? Water is always going to be the source. So we are pouring into that tea kettle, filling it up, and then it has to boil, right? So when people are talking about, oh, the offer is the water, that the pouring, I'm sorry, the offer comes from the pouring of the water in the pot, right? And so, oh, now you have to simmer. You have to get yourself simmered up and boiled up to a point where you're like, look, this is my last. But if I were to really invest in Kel'sea, am I investing in myself? Am I growing an idea that can now produce the opportunity for me to grow more and also be able to pay Kel'sea? Absolutely. There are a lot of opportunities that come out of it. Challenges. You get certified. You're going to be able to come back and speak. I think that's the game changer, Kel'sea. Giving the opportunity to come back and speak to your audience, and then now they're tapped into your network. And so you never know who they may attract from your network, you know? I don't think people think about those things. When I invest in something, I've already thought about the end game? Like what do I see myself doing? And so I think that that's the biggest key is for people to look from back to front.
That's an amazing point because I know that's what I did when I got into certain certifications. I said, okay, where do I see myself? I see myself doing this with this certification. All right, let me go ahead and find a way to be able to do it. Now, that is an amazing point that I don't think a lot of people think about. And I didn't even just now, just hearing you reaffirm that, yeah, I'm giving you guys so many different opportunities. Like I'm creating a culture, a movement, a community to be able to support people because that is my passion. I enjoy helping people bringing their passions out and turning those passions into profits because these companies are laying people off left and right. A lot of people, a lot of my students, and I think you were one of them, was is not working, right?
I'm medically retired.
Yeah.
I am medically retired, and I want to make a great point about something. I have no income coming in the house right now outside of what I create. So I'm not getting VA benefits. I'm not getting Social Security benefits, but I'm medically retired. Like I cannot, and I've been denied them. And the reality of my situation is I didn't have the money at all. I had to ask my son to help me invest in this. And the first thing I did was give my son back his money plus a bonus for investing in me because that's an opportunity that I saw that I could not pass up. Um, and again, I was looking from back to front. I knew what I could do if I had the coaching to get me where I need to be.
Ooh, this shout out to your son.
He
Shout
don't
out.
even know what I spent the money on. He just knew he gave him back money.
Well, awesome. Well, Renetta, I appreciate you for sharing your story, for telling us about your journey before, during, and after the sprint. I know you're going to continue to do amazing things and help more women service founders and all of that great stuff. So, how can people stay connected with you?
Oh, they can stay connected with me on Instagram, Ronetta Jones Official. And also, that's actually the best way to contact me right now. Um, um, my email is extraordinarysolutions@gmail.com. So those are the two best contacts for me. And then also, don't forget, I'll be doing the webinar June 10th. So they'll see me in the community as well.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, so Renetta will be coming back and teaching inside of the community. So y'all be on the lookout for that. More news about that to come. So thank you, Renetta.
You're welcome.